As the pandemic continues, NASCAR is considering moving the Auto Club race to yet another road course. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric, and welcome to Out of the Groove. I hope you all had a great weekend. Despite it being the middle of the NASCAR offseason, there was plenty of great racing to be seen the last couple days. Congratulations to Ty Majeski winning his first ever Snowball Derby championship. As is becoming tradition, it was a dramatic and often controversial weekend down in Pensacola. From what I could see, Chase Elliott, defending NASCAR Cup Series champion, finished third in the main event after winning the last chance qualifier on Saturday to qualify for the big show. Two-time Derby winner Kyle Busch ended up finishing 7th, so NASCAR was pretty well represented at the Snowball Derby this year. Always a competitive event. Next up for Chase Elliott, at least, he's got some dirt racing on his schedule before he attempts to race in the Chili Bowl Nationals in January. And we're going to talk about another high-profile NASCAR superstar who is added to his off-season plans. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but to start today's episode, I want to discuss a rumor that I saw this weekend, a rumor that has serious implications as far as the beginning of the NASCAR schedule is concerned. Let's dive right into NASCAR Reddit. This rumor was making the rounds Saturday night. The rumor: NASCAR plans on moving the Fontana weekend, February 28th through March 1st, to the Daytona Road Course. Rumors are no stranger to NASCAR Reddit, but on Twitter at least, Brett Griffin, spotter in the NASCAR Cup Series, chimed in and suggested this rumor is pretty legit, replying to the post saying, "Who said rumor?" Stirring the pot a bit, but I'll take Brett Griffin seriously on this. It sounds like NASCAR is really close to announcing that the Auto Club race weekend at the end of February will be moved, perhaps across the entire country from the West Coast to the East Coast, and we might get an announcement fairly soon. It is still a rumor, but this got a lot of people talking. Unfortunately for NASCAR fans, for race fans in California, this rumor does sound quite likely. This weekend, Adam Stern from Sports Business Journal, talking about IndyCar, reported that Long Beach Grand Prix organizers are still planning to hold the IndyCar/IMSA event in April, but they have started looking into potential backup plans should the event need to be postponed till later in 2021 because of the coronavirus pandemic. That's right, IndyCar and IMSA are scheduled to race in Southern California not until April, more than a month after the NASCAR race is currently scheduled. But with NASCAR's first California date coming up pretty quick, this could lead to drastic measures being taken. The question is, when will racing return to California? That Auto Club 400, scheduled for February 28th, is supposed to be the final NASCAR Cup Series race run on the 2-mile oval configuration. Remember, Auto Club Speedway is going to see a massive overhaul over the next few months. NASCAR and ISC are planning to turn the track into a half-mile short track, hopefully in time for its spot on the 2022 Cup Series schedule. Now we're going to talk a little real-world news for just a moment. This past weekend, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced a new stay-at-home mandate for most of Southern California, citing rising COVID cases as the reason for this decision. It's been really difficult to predict the long-term future and long-term impact of COVID throughout this entire year, and it's obvious that this is going to trickle into 2021 even as vaccinations become more and more prevalent. If IndyCar is concerned about their race in April being postponed or perhaps canceled for the second year in a row, I think it's very likely that the NASCAR Cup race weekend at the end of February is gonna be changed. I think NASCAR plans on running all 36 races next year with fans in the stands. Sure, especially early in the season, we may not see full capacity at many racetracks, or maybe not any racetracks the first few weeks. We already know the Daytona 500 is gonna have limited capacity, but I think NASCAR plans on having fans at every single one of their races next season. NASCAR owns Auto Club Speedway, so it wouldn't be that difficult for NASCAR to move that date to another NASCAR track, which is why we'll talk about the Daytona Road Course being a likely possibility in just a moment. NASCAR's only other race in California is not scheduled until June 6th. That's at Sonoma Raceway, of course, the Toyota Save Mart 350, so there's a very good chance that race will still go off as scheduled. That track is also an SMI, Speedway Motorsports owned track, so if that race were to get replaced, that date would likely go to another SMI track, perhaps Atlanta Motor Speedway or Bristol Motor Speedway would be my guess. Or if they want to be a road course, maybe the Charlotte Roval perhaps. But for now, let's focus on the likely possibility that the Auto Club 400 will be in fact moved to Daytona International Speedway, a race that will be run on the road course configuration. If NASCAR does in fact go this route, there will be 7 points-paying road course races on the Cup Series schedule next season. That is unheard of. For a whole generation of fans at this point, if not more, they've become used to seeing maybe 2 road courses on the schedule. Growing up for me, it was just Watkins Glen and Sonoma, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. In recent years, they've thrown the Roval in there as kind of a wild card, so we've been used to 2 or 3 road courses a year. Next year, NASCAR, if they go this route, they're jumping up to 7 road courses. 2, 3 to 7 in just 1 year's time. That's not even counting the Busch Clash, which is already scheduled for the Daytona road course. So that's technically 8 road course races on the Cup schedule next year. That's wild. Again, I understand Auto Club is an ISC-owned track, so is Daytona. It's easy to make the switch. But, you know, in my opinion, why not give Darlington another weekend? Especially since next year they're running the 750 horsepower low downforce package at Darlington. Could be a pretty great show. Or if NASCAR wants to stay in Florida, because I understand why NASCAR wants to go to Florida. Florida, like most states, is seeing rising COVID cases, but they have chosen not to go back into full-on lockdown mode. I think NASCAR is betting that the rules will not change much between now and February, which is why the Daytona 500 is expected to have fans. The Super Bowl, set to be played in Tampa, Florida, February 7th. That's expected to have fans, albeit a limited capacity. I think NASCAR is confident that the state of Florida will allow fans to attend NASCAR races in February. So I understand why NASCAR would want to go to Daytona, but why not Homestead? Why not Homestead Miami Speedway? That's another ISC-owned track, and it's more similar to Auto Club in that it's technically kind of an intermediate oval. They both have blue walls. I don't know. I guess they're not really that similar, but they're both ovals at least. Changing the Auto Club 400 run on a 2-mile oval down to a road course race, that's a complete night and day. There's 2 different cars you bring to the track. Don't get me wrong, Auto Club Speedway is not my favorite track on the schedule. I do think if this in fact happens, it will be a shame that Southern California NASCAR fans aren't going to get to see one final race on the 2-mile configuration before it's completely overhauled next year. That will be a shame if this does in fact happen, but I don't feel like we're losing out on a, you know, all-time classic race. The Auto Club 400 is okay. I'm just not so sure about introducing yet another road course to the schedule. Again, 7 points-paying road courses will be on the schedule next year if this rumor is in fact true, and that feels like too many. That's too sudden of a jump. I enjoy most road course races. I think we've had some really good road course races in recent years. I will say last year's Daytona road course experiment was not one of my favorites. I thought it was a pretty average race, honestly. So I'm not sure that configuration is best suited for NASCAR Cup Series cars, but, you know, I'll give it a second year. I'll give it another shot. But so many road courses, you know, I think NASCAR's trying to condition its fans to like road courses. You know, for years, NASCAR has been the oval racing sport. Turn left, that's all it is. You know, I think NASCAR, though, is trying to change their image a little bit, because they know, based on driver feedback in recent months, that the next gen car, when it arrives in 2022, is going to be very well suited for road courses. It's going to drive phenomenally at road courses. It's going to make drivers happy. It hopefully will make fans happy. So I think NASCAR is trying to phase in these road courses now so that when the next gen car hits the shelves, those races will become some of the most popular on the schedule. I think that's NASCAR's plan, and I'm all for trying it, but I mean, NASCAR does oval racing really, really well. That's part of NASCAR's charm. That's what sets NASCAR apart from IndyCar or Formula One or from other major racing series, is that NASCAR's the oval series. I mean, even IndyCar now has taken almost all the ovals off of their schedule for next season. It's almost all road courses now. F1 obviously is all road courses. Someone's got to show these oval races some love. Obviously, not all ovals are created equal, but I don't want to see oval racing go away completely. I still think the focus going forward should be on oval racing for NASCAR, preferably short oval racing. You don't need to see too many intermediates from here on out, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Usually I'm open to trying anything. I like it when NASCAR experiments like this, but 7 road courses? I mean, we already know 6 are on the schedule. I already think that's a little high. I've told you guys before, my sweet spot's like 4, maybe 5. But if they jump to 7 next year, I do like that at least there's 7 unique road courses. Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Charlotte Roval, Road America, Circuit of the Americas, Daytona Road Course, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I like that they're all unique, but that is a lot of road course racing next year. It's just different. It's a very sudden change. I think it's happening too quickly, in my opinion, but maybe I'll regret this in a year from now when the road courses turn out to be the best races of the season. When it comes to how NASCAR is going to manage at least the start of 2021, they've made it clear that they're going to be aggressive, more aggressive than most of the other major sports leagues around the country. They're going to try to get butts in seats as fast as possible, but NASCAR is very heavily dependent on what local governments allow. See this latest this rumor as an example. There's a good chance California will not be allowing large crowds to gather in February, so the Auto Club race, that might get nixed in favor of another race at Daytona in Florida, a state that more than likely will allow decent-sized crowds in February. I mean, it's, again, hard to predict anything long-term with the coronavirus, but based on the trends, comparing different governments around the country, seeing what California enacted just this very weekend, I think NASCAR is just making their best educated guess at this point. We'll obviously wait and see if this rumor turns out to be true. I think there's a lot of weight to it. I would not be surprised at all if Auto Club Speedway gets rescheduled or gets changed completely into a different race at a different track. We'll have to wait and see. It's still a couple months away, but I'd assume NASCAR would announce a final decision sooner rather than later, but we will stay tuned. I think there's some truth to it, but we'll see what actually happens. It's been a few days since my last Out of the Groove, so I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, but just a couple days ago, Jimmie Johnson announced his intentions to run the Rolex 24 at the end of January. Of course, Rick Hendrick let it slip a month ago that Jimmie Johnson was going to run the Rolex 24. Of course, we weren't sure how serious he was, if he actually knew it was going on, but now it has been confirmed. Jimmie Johnson will race an Action Express entry in an alliance with Hendrick Motorsports. He'll be driving the number 48 Allied Cadillac DPI along with a superstar cast. Simon Pagenaud, Indy 500 winner, Kamui Kobayashi, who's a two-time Rolex 24 winner himself, and Mike Rockenfeller, who's also won the Rolex 24. They will all drive as part of this team for this entry. Really exciting, I'm sure, for many longtime Jimmie Johnson fans to see, Hendrick Motorsports Ally, the number 48, all that stuff on the car one final time. Of course, Jimmie's going to run the 48 in IndyCar this year, but that's going to be for Chip Ganassi. There's going to be different colors on the car. At least at the Rolex 24 in January, there will be some familiarity to NASCAR fans. I don't know a whole lot about IMSA. I don't know a whole lot about sports car racing, but I do know these drivers are extremely good, and I know this entry, this team, is likely going to be extremely good. Do not count this team out. Jimmie Johnson could very well leave Daytona with some extra hardware on his wrist. We shall see. Still no word yet as to what Chase Elliott is doing. Chase Elliott himself said after winning the championship at Phoenix that he wants to run the Rolex 24, but that no deal had yet been finished. It's interesting to hear that this Jimmie Johnson entry is a Hendrick-backed entry, but that Chase Elliott is not one of the drivers on the roster. So I don't know, is Hendrick going to field another car in a different class perhaps? That's always possible. Chase Elliott could very well find a spot of his own driving for a different team. Who knows? But we now know at least that Jimmie Johnson and Chase Elliott will not be teammates here in the Rolex 24. But very exciting to see 7-time NASCAR Cup title running sports cars next year. He's a busy man next year. I know he's not running NASCAR, at least not yet. He hasn't announced anything, but he is very busy. He still has nearly a full racing schedule ahead of him in 2021. So very exciting for Jimmie Johnson fans who are going to get the chance to see him running something a little bit different. I haven't looked up what crowd expectations are for the Rolex 24. Again, it's at Daytona in Florida. I would expect some number of fans will be allowed to attend, so might be a chance for Jimmie Johnson fans to see their guy race again if they missed him in 2020. So we'll see what happens there, but definitely another reason to tune in to the IMSA Rolex 24 at the end of January. I believe it's January like 30th and 31st. I mean, it's 24 hours. Lasts a long time, across multiple days. Gonna be fun to keep up with that race for sure. That's all I've got for today's episode of Out of the Groove. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you believe the rumors that Auto Club Speedway is gonna be moved to Daytona, or the race at least will? What do you think of Jimmie Johnson's chances in the Rolex 24? Leave your comments down below. I look forward to reading your responses. That's all from me. Thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe for more NASCAR news, rumors, commentary, opinions, all that great stuff. We talk NASCAR all throughout the year, 365. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. I couldn't do the show without your tremendous support. More coming this week. Got a lot of things in the works. Hopefully I'll be able to share them with you all fairly soon. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your Monday, everyone.